there. Good morning and welcome. This is the AM show and it's 2 days to Christmas. We're super excited. Can't wait for Christmas Day. You have bought your shoes? Have you bought your clothes? Have you killed the chicken, the goat? You know, all the things that we love about Christmas. Well, it's coming up. And this morning, we're having a show that promises to entertain you, but also, you know, keep you safe. So the FDA will be passing through this morning. I'll be having a conversation with them about ensuring food safety over the Christmas. So there's some things that we can cook at home and there's some things that we like to go out and eat. But how do we stay safe? Especially knowing that the demand is higher because there are a lot more people in town. And so, you know, standards are a little bit more likely to drop. We'll have that conversation with the FDA. Also, we continue with our end of year parliamentary series. Kwesi Parker Wilson's conversation with the son of late Vice President Alhaji Aliyu Mahama, Farouk Aliyu Mahama, who is MP for Yendi. We'll be having that conversation this morning as well. Also, Whaley Properties will be telling us about their Christmas packages. All exciting stuff. And of course, we'll have music, we'll have showbiz, we'll have sports, we'll have the newspapers. It's going to be an exciting show. Don't go anywhere. My name is Enima Do, and coming up next is the news. Well, good morning and welcome to the AM News. Now, government has launched the National Electronic Pharmacy Policy and Guidelines to ensure inclusive pharmaceutical care in the country. It would also lead to full operationalization of a digital platform for providing pharmaceutical services across the country next year. Launching the platform, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia explained the digitization of pharmacies would have the nation's pharmaceutical companies converged on one digital platform to address the difficulties of roaming and looking for medicine.
Why e-pharmacy? This innovation is dear to the government. A few years ago, at the annual general meeting of pharmacists, I threw a challenge to the pharmacists present. How can we use technology to improve access to pharmaceutical care in Ghana in a manner that complements our traditional brick-and-mortar pharmacy? Yes, there is that personal touch to the traditional face-to-face patient-pharmacist relationship. But there are ways that technology can improve access and delivery, especially to the large segment of the population scattered in the rural areas and the less urban areas. And even for those in the urban areas, how can technology reduce the information costs and transaction costs in accessing pharmaceutical services? Ladies and gentlemen, the innovations in our national health insurance, the deepening in training of our human resources and recruitment of health personnel, one constituency, one ambulance, the use of drones in the delivery of drugs, the innovation in institutional digital frameworks of the health sector, the agenda to build 111 health facilities to augment the existing ones are all major steps in achieving our goals.
Now, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Henry Quartey, has directed MMDCEs in the region to intensify strict adherence to COVID-19 safety protocols to reduce the spread of the virus during this festive season. Speaking at the last council meeting for 2021, Mr. Quartey gave an update on his outfit's project, Let's Make Greater Accra Work agenda.
And as we roll into the new year, I've heard that some people say that, oh, Henry is gone to sleep. Henry is not sleeping at all. Henry is rather warming up because hopefully next year we'll come back and will hit the ground running very, very fast. On the issue of COVID-19, the President has issued the safety protocols, and they still hold. I have directed the MMDCs to, as a matter of urgency, go back to their respective assemblies, work with the stakeholders to ensure that people would adhere to the COVID protocols. And I want to believe that same will be carried out. Because we are getting to the Christmas festivities, we thought it wise to allow the traders to do some business in the few weeks that is left, which is understandable. So let nobody get it wrong that we have relented in our efforts to make Accra work. No, rather we think that it's Christmas. Let us allow them to do business. But I can assure you that from middle of January next year, we will come back full breach, and I say full breach, on the issue of Operation Clean Your Frontage. The city response team will be going to training very soon. It is expected that the first batch will pass out by the end of January.
Now, the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Health and Allied Sciences says his outfit is committed to being a great health research educational institution. Professor John J. Pond believes the institution would engage in partnerships to positively impact humans globally. He was speaking at UHAS's 10th anniversary media launch on the main campus at Sokode in the whole municipality of the Volta region.
University of Health and Allied Sciences was established by an Act of Parliament, Act 828, which received presidential approval in December 2011. It, however, admitted its foundation students of 154 in 2012. UHAS is devoted to teaching, research, and service in the health sciences. It currently runs 7 schools, 2 institutes with over 3,500 students. Speaking at the media launch of UHAS's 10th anniversary celebrations, Vice-Chancellor Professor John Owusu Japon underscored their humble beginning.
As a university, we do not despise our humble beginnings. Instead, we shall use this opportunity to showcase what we have achieved and how we have come this far as the leaders in academic prowess in this country, as far as our faculty are concerned, and what our students are also achieving worldwide. We shall focus on the gains that have made a young enterprising university seeking to build capacity on all fronts for the health sector. We shall use the occasion also to present and market ourselves as an institution of excellence and innovation worthy of notice in the tertiary education scenario in Ghana and beyond.
He also stressed the university's commitment to becoming a preeminent health research educational institution.
UHAS is focused on being a preeminent health research educational institution dedicated to community service through teaching, research, and dissemination of knowledge, as well as providing clinical and other services to improve the health status and overall quality of life of our people. Ultimately, we shall foster partnerships that would positively impact on our global humanity. In sum, the celebration is reiterating the statement that UHAS is shining and a great giant is arising.
The University's Council has approved a series of activities to mark the 10th anniversary. The activities include lectures, awards of honorary doctorate degrees, STEM engagement in senior high schools, research dissemination, exhibition, among others. The 10th anniversary congregation, Deba and Awards Dinner Dance are scheduled to be held in July 2022. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Sokode, Lokwe.
Now, the Coalition of Concerned Teacher Fund Board is asking its members to remain resolute in their quest for excellence and better working conditions. The board has organized a forum to account to members how it has managed contributions for the year. Northern Regional Correspondent Martina Bugri reports.
The annual general meeting is the platform that offers the teachers the opportunity to question the leadership managing the fund and any concerns they have. It is also a platform to deliberate on the progress and welfare of its members. Speaking to the media, secretary to the CCT Fund Board, Kingsley Enyimadu, said the fund has the lowest interest in the country and is offering its members the opportunity to save.
Now, a member of the CCT fund can take a loan to the tune of 20,000. When you have contributed to a certain amount, or you don't have the affordability to take a loan, you can come for partial withdrawal. There are a lot of things that we are doing. As we speak, we have one of the lowest interest rates in this country, if not the lowest, 10.2 per annum. And we feel that these are some of the things. If you look at the theme of this AGM, encouraging the culture of saving in the working life of a Ghanaian teacher. And if your salary is even 100,000 per month and you do not save, you do not have a future. Saving is the cornerstone of any worker or even a businessman.
He said they have a membership close to 26,000.
We have the CCT Ghana as the parent body. Anybody who becomes a member of the CCT Ghana has the right or has the opportunity to join the scheme. Currently, as you speak, per our report to AGM, we are currently getting to 26,000 members. So you can imagine it is not a fund that is in a small fund. It's big, 26,000 members. So anybody who enters, and people come voluntarily to, join the union and contribute to the fund. Even other people, especially the non-teaching staff of the Ghana Education Service, some of them have approached us that they want to be part of their fund.
Now, the Crops Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has received approval to release 2 new tomato varieties for cultivation in Ghana. This has become necessary after years of research by scientists from the institute with financial support from the Korean Program on International Agriculture and the government of Ghana through the Obatampa Care Program. More in this report.
Certified seeds of new varieties which have been christened CRI Kobna Kobna and Kopia tomato would be available next year to enable farmers to have access for cultivation. The new varieties took 55 days to mature, unlike the current varieties which took approximately 80 to 90 days to mature. Dr. Michael Kwabno, a senior research scientist at CSIR, said a yield per hectare is 20 tons, 3 times the yield of the current varieties, which normally would produce 7.5 and 10 tons per hectare. Addressing farmers at a training workshop on the cultivation of the new tomato at Akomadan in the Ofinso North municipality of the Ashanti region, Dr. Osei, the lead researcher, said the new varieties would enable farmers to produce the quality and quantity of tomatoes Ghana needed for both domestic and industrial use.
So as a research institute mandated to work on tomato, we started working on tomatoes to actually get some varieties released. Went through a process we call pure line selection, and so we picked the line for our own farmers field, took them to our research institute and began to work on them. As I speak, we have received approval to release 2 of these varieties, and then they agreed to name it CRI Kwabna Kwabna and then Kopia tomato. Now, unique about these varieties is that 1, it's early maturing. That is, it takes 55 days after planting to see it mature, which is earlier than the local farmers. The one that the local farmers have been growing will take between 80 to 90 days. And so we say it's early maturing. 2, the yield is very high. We are recording 20 tons per hectare, which is twice or thrice what the farmers are getting farmers are getting between 7.5 to 10 tons per hectare. And so our variety is yielding very high. And that's where in both major and minor season, but of course, you need to get a good agronomic practices to get a potential of the varieties. Apart from this, our variety is tolerant to certain disease. More importantly, what we call tomato leaf blight. So we're looking at both the early and late. So in the rainy season where we have high incidence of this disease, our variety is able to tolerate it. So despite the symptoms that you see on the field, we still get appreciable yield. And so it makes our variety tolerant to leaf blight. Again, in terms of brace is total soluble solids. This is one requirement that most tomato processing factories look at. Our variety is given between 6.3 to 6.8 brace. What it means is that the total soluble solid is very high. The standard is usually between 4.8 and above. And so we believe it makes our variety a dual purpose, which means both the fresh market and the processing factory can use it.
Mr. Lim Yong-taek, the Korean ambassador to Ghana, said achieving greater self-sufficiency in tomato production with enhanced productivity had become one of the urgent national tasks for the government. It was the reason COPIA and the CSIR-CRI embarked on a joint research to breed improved varieties of tomato that were adaptable to the Ghanaian market.
To disseminate the new varieties to the Ghanaian farmers, so we continue to support in that regard.
Now, electronic toys form the bulk of Christmas items. Unfortunately, that presents a challenge for traders who mostly have little education or knowledge on electronics when the items start malfunctioning. On Tech Thursday, Love FM's Chrissy Deborah looks at how light and sound affect sales of Christmas toys and how these traders are coping with their maintenance.
Sound travels through liquids, solids, and gases. But these solids, liquids, and gases contain molecules or atoms which vibrate back and forth. So the speed of sound through a substance is dependent on the density of the substance. That means that if a substance is more dense, the atoms, the molecules are tightly packed, and so sound will move very fast. But if it's less dense, it means that the atoms and molecules are far apart, and then it will move slower. Oh, sorry, I forgot. There's not a physics class. It's not a physics class. Better. Sound and light are both waves, but light travels faster than sound. Regardless of that, our eyes are nothing without light. And who can resist a dulcet female voice or a suave male baritone?
The light and sound helps to drive sales.
This observation is the main force behind trader Felicity's selection of items for Christmas sales. The items ranging from hats to spectacles are either fitted with buzzers or lights.
They all demand light or sound. If they are absent, they refuse to buy.
For the entire items costing 500 cedis, the ones with light and sound form 80%.
I bought the ones with light and sound for 400 cedis.
Of course, sometimes the electronics go bonkers. Felicity would then try to do some repairs. She fidgets with either the wires or the batteries.
Sometimes, when you play with the wires, they get back to work.
When the attempts are not successful, Felicity has no other choice but to give a discount.
The spectacles are 5 cedis, but I'll give it to you at 4 cedis when the light is not working.
Another trader, Martin, who has gone for about 80,000 cedis worth of these toys, has been observing their electrical system. He has found a way of repairing them.
Mostly, we observed they've been joined together with a super glue, and so when they get spoiled, we use super glue to mend them.
But for patients at the central market, the items are either discarded or go for free.
When they get spoiled, I send it straight to the refuse dump or give it to a child.
An advice for people who want to cash in on a Christmas frenzy. Please don't forget the sound and light. Because if you forget the sound and light, you're necessarily bound to fight for your diet. Enjoy the Joy News sounds and light. My name is Kwesi Deborah for Joy News.
Well, thank you to Kwesi Deborah for that very, very interesting report. We're definitely not going to forget light and sound this Christmas. But staying with Christmas, well, Christmas trees have almost always been made out of expensive, exotic materials that put the cost beyond many who may want to decorate their homes for Christmas. One man is seeking to change that and also help tackle one of the country's biggest environmental problems, plastic pollution. Justice Baidu went to meet him.
Plastic bottles have become a problem for many in Ghana, choking gutters, filling up waterways, worsening the country's already big environmental problems. Here, inside the academic city university in Accra, plastic bottles have a different use.
So this is a receptacle. It's an industry-academia partnership. What we wanted to do was that we wanted to create a sustainable strategy for waste segregation. Because the bigger problem when it comes to plastic pollution is not plastic waste being available in the environment. That's not the bigger problem. The bigger problem is being accessible to recycling facilities.
Makafui Awuku is a serial entrepreneur and engineer. 5 years ago, he started making Christmas trees with plastic bottles.
I realized that when people see the plastic waste being used for upcycled items, it changes their behavior without you even speaking to them about it, because they can see the visible plastics in the installation. And the Christmas tree installation is one of the most amazing installations we do every year. So every year we identify a couple of public spaces, we weave the tree with a couple of volunteers, and then we put lights in them, and we have it installed, and it can be there for a couple of weeks or months. So that's just one of the outlets when it comes to upcycling. And it's a sustainable outlet because after we install the tree, when we are done, we can remove the bottles and then pass it on to other recycling programs.
This is the Achimota School. It is one of the country's oldest and best high schools. And it is here that Awuku's organization is partnering young students to teach them how to build Christmas trees from plastic waste they create in the school.
We have a 20-foot tall tree with a base of 7 feet, made up of about over 1,200 plastic bottles recycled right here in the school. And as you can see, it's really beautiful. And it's all by just one initiative, recycling. The plastic in itself is very intriguing if you look at it, because the situation in the world now is global warming, and that's brought about by wrong plastic management. If you go on the seas, you realize fishermen are catching more plastic than fish, and it's very appalling and sad. If we practice proper waste management, I'm sure we can catch more fish and enjoy our Christmas.
If we had all Christmas tree made with plastics, it is going to save Mother Earth. It's going to save Mother Earth of the waste degradation, plastic waste degradation it would have experienced, choking of drains, gutters, and all of that, as we see every time. And this is the best example for the nation to emulate.
When these trees are lit up in the night, it is a sight to behold, as seen on the Instagram pages of the Achimota School.
For me, Christmas means more of, you know, people taking time off to spend with loved ones. Food, laughter, happiness, networking, catching up, rest, you know. So anything we are able to do to help, you know, get people more relaxed, a little bit less stressed, and having something exciting to talk about is wonderful.
EWUCU plans to work with more schools to bring the innovation into other parts of the country. So this Christmas, if you see a Christmas tree up your street or anywhere in town, be sure to check. You may just be looking at a Christmas tree made from the bottle you dropped somewhere. Justice Beidou, Joy News, Accra.
Well, that's it for the AM News, but the AM show continues, and my very good friend Elton is joining us for the news review right after this. Don't go anywhere. All right, well, welcome back. This is still the AM show, and that was a rather special rendition of "O Holy Night," and the translation of "O Holy Night" to "That Night's Legit" is absolutely legit. So, hope you enjoyed that one. But anyway, we're going to dive straight into the newspapers. But I thought we were going to do something. I was expecting another song, Echo, as per discussed. Okay, all right. Elton, this one is for you. I think you need a song that's coming up. I think you need to listen to it closely because we're going to ask you for some translations.
Oh, for translation, I'll give it to you.
In the song, like as in sing the translation for
us.
Sing
the translation. Unmitigated calamity.
Hey, unmitigated calamity. Anyway, one of our absolute favorite Christmas songs.
Yeah.
Like, listen.
The 24th anthem.
The 24th anthem. Yeah. Okay, Elton. So yes, no, but you can't say the translation.
So fellow Ghanaians, forgive me. I will just try to let you understand what exactly Ukechogwami is.
By singing it.
Today is 24th.
Tomorrow is 24th.
Tomorrow is 24th
yes.
of December
2021.
Nobody will tell you to look at your living conditions. If you feel that you are not up to it, just get a polythene bag, pack your things inside, head to the different station, get a bus, and off to your hometown. At least you will notice some foul, loitering around. Kill it and then enjoy it.
And then have your Christmas. That's wow. That's Elton's translation of the song Obi Kase 24. But how have you been? It's been a couple of days.
Well, it's been good. I mean, we're in Kumasi over the weekend for the
I missed you on Monday. Yeah. You weren't back yet.
So we're back. The Hamatan also brought in all manner of unexplained headache.
And it just appeared on Sunday morning.
Yeah, it appeared on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
A lot of people are under the weather. And we are seeing spike in our COVID cases.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that can also be attributed to the Hamatan or it's just the fact that we are entering into the fourth wave. But it's not looking good. According to Dr. Kumabuaji, the Ghana Health Service Director General, we are recording over 400 cases a day. Previously, we were recording just 4, 5, but we're almost on our way out of COVID.
Yeah.
And now this has brought in a lot of cases. So 400 a day, that's quite big. And I'm told that some of our centers that have been designated to treat COVID cases, most of them are beginning to run out of beds, which means that we need to take care of ourselves. We need to take the jab. If you have not done so, please do it because it provides you the surest protection against COVID-19. Now, we don't know what we are dealing with.
Yeah.
We don't know whether it's Omicron or Delta or whatever it is. Once you are tested and it's tested positive, what it means is I have to isolate. Do you want to cancel Christmas or cancel your life? I think that we should be careful in the way we go about
things. Yeah, definitely. And I think that you can still get vaccinated at your nearest hospital. So definitely, pop in there, get vaccinated.
We have, according to the Ghana Health Service, they have 10 million vaccines available. Now, there's serious hesitancy. I don't know what is informing people's rejection of the jabs. But, I mean, this is life and death.
Yeah.
If you don't want to take it, you also endanger the lives of other people. So
exactly.
Go ahead, take it. Me, I want to enjoy Christmas. In fact, I have no intention of skipping Christmas.
Yeah.
So don't let your recalcitrant behavior prevent me from enjoying my Christmas.
From enjoying Christmas, yeah. But those figures, I'm definitely worrying, and I'm wondering how it's going to affect, if at all, if it's going to affect the celebrations and the gatherings, the concerts, and all the programs that are lined up.
Remember yesterday on the Super Morning Show, the Ghana Health Service made it clear that they were in talks with the Ghana Tourism Authority to cancel events that will be held indoor. In fact, on Tuesday, the Health Service gave a directive that any event organizer holding any event indoors should cancel it, or the Ghana Health Service will deploy people to ensure that such events do not happen. Now, for me, the directive came a bit late.
A bit late.
Because some have invested a lot of money.
Yeah.
For example, if you are renting the conference center for just a day, that's going to cost you almost 50,000 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to rent it for 2 days because you need rehearsals and stuff like that. So we're talking about almost 100,000 Ghana cedis for just the venue. Some have paid for it, and there's no way they're going to get it back because Ghana Health Service says that you can't go ahead and do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So 2 days to the event, and you come and tell them that, please, do not go ahead with the event. Stage it outside. In an open area. Well, for health-wise, it is good. It is to help prevent spread of the virus and prevent people from contracting those who are negative. However, this decision should have come a bit earlier.
A bit earlier, definitely.
We should have looked into the future and say that looking at the weather changes and everything, we are likely to have spike in cases in this December. And so these are the protocols we are going to adopt and ensure that people follow. That didn't happen. A last-minute meeting resolved that nobody can hold an event indoors. Now, some of the event organizers say that there's no way they can comply with this directive because they've already invested so much money into it. I'm told that they are so talking among themselves with the Ghana Tourism Authority to see how best they can resolve this particular matter. Some have the vaccine cards. Why don't you use that as condition for admission into these events? And then you are guaranteed that everybody in there has been vaccinated. And then you insist on people wearing the nose masks and then the continuous sanitization of the hand. And then let's see how this goes.
But I mean, as I listen to you, of course, you kind of pit one situation against the other. You're thinking, okay, yes, the loss of revenue versus the loss of life. There's that famous Akufo-Addo quote: "We know how to bring back the economy, but we don't know how to bring back, your lives." And 400 cases a day, it's not a joke at all.
It's not a joke, and it's even starting early. Usually, you will see the cases after Christmas.
Yeah.
Before Christmas, you are seeing cases going up. Last year, the Harmattan did not hit us the way it
hasn't actually been like this for a number of years.
Exactly. So it has brought in all manner of scenarios. I mean, coming from Kumasi, I was a bit under the weather. So on Monday, I had to go and do the COVID test. I did it again on Tuesday. Fortunately for me, all the tests came out negative. So that's why I'm sitting here today.
Yeah, of course.
There are some people I came with, they tested positive.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's how bad it is. And some of them are not experiencing any
symptoms at all. But you see, then it also brings to bear the conversation of how the weather helped Africa, the sun.
Exactly.
Because these conditions, okay, they're a bit similar to Western conditions, maybe not so much, but the temperature, the dryness, and then suddenly, our cases are going up, and
it's not the best. It's not the best, and this appears to be global in the UK.
The UK is shutting down on the 26th.
On the 26th. So
I just find that very interesting because yesterday there was a match. I think it was Leicester City, Liverpool.
Yeah, that was the year
and the stadium was full.
In fact, for the Premiership, there was an issue on the table that they should suspend all the matches. The Premiership managers met in a meeting, and after the meeting, they decided they would go ahead with all of the games. The thing about the UK is that they can tell that over 70% of the population they vaccinated.
It's vaccinated, yeah.
And indeed, before you enter any of the stadium, you have to show proof of vaccination. So you can guarantee that everybody that watched the match yesterday
is vaccinated.
Exactly, and they will not compromise on some of these things.
Anyways, well, let's see how it goes. I think that the most important thing that you can do for yourself is get vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, please get vaccinated. Wear your face mask and wash your hands. Don't get too close to other people. Let's just be really mindful. January last year was the darkest time for this country since COVID-19 started. We lost over 330 people, and we don't want to see a repeat of that. So please stay safe out there. But let's get into the newspapers.
So, I mean, relating to the matter we are talking about, the Ghanaian Times has this on the front page, clergy Xmas message, and it comes with a picture of the Methodist presiding bishop, the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, and the moderator of the Global Evangelical Church. And they are saying that go for the COVID-19 vaccine jab to prevent spike during the Yuletide. And let me read to you the story, which is captured in page 16 of the Ghanaian Times. With the cases of COVID-19 rising steadily in the country due to the emergence of the Omicron, the new variant, religious leaders have advised the public to take all necessary precautions during the festive season and beyond. They urge those who have not taken the vaccine to do so, whilst wearing of nose masks, washing of hands, and social distance will be observed strictly to prevent a rapid spike in cases. The religious leaders from the Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference, the Methodist Church Ghana, the Anglican Church, the Global Evangelical Church gave the advice in their separate Christmas message conveyed through the Ghanaian Times. They also expressed their views on road accident, corruption, and lesbianism, gay, bisexual, transgender, doom prophecy, stressing the need for these issues to be tackled for national development. The Most Reverend Philip Name, Archbishop of Tamale and President of the Catholic Bishop Conference, says since there was no end in sight to the pandemic, obeying existing regulations and protocols were still pertinent and ought to be followed religiously, even if these tends to limit some of our rights and freedom. And I guess the message is very clear. Please take the jab if you have not done so. Indeed. And then get the COVID card. And I want to insist that even if you are going to church, the church leaders should insist on people showing it before they enter the house of God to worship.
Yeah.
Also, the National House of Chiefs, I also condemn the brawl that took place in Parliament. I don't know whether you had time to watch MPs.
Did I have time to watch? What else will I be doing at midnight apart from watching members of Parliament shooting blows at each other? Yeah, I watched it.
It wasn't the best of pictures that we portrayed.
No, it wasn't at all.
But the National House of Chiefs, they've condemned the unfortunate conduct of members of Parliament who turned the floor of Parliament into a boxing arena. The House of Chiefs wondered why of late parliamentarians had decided to exchange blows on the floor of the House when they could jaw over issues of importance to the nation. At the meeting of the House yesterday, the President, Oja Hokwo JB II, noted the recent decision by Parliament to exchange blows on the floor of Parliament is just unfortunate. It does not affect them. It affects the country, Nananum, and the good people. It is recalled that some MPs on Monday night were engaged in a fisticuff following a disagreement during the voting on government e-levy bill. The fight ensued when the MPs were voting in the head count to decide whether or not the e-levy should be accepted under a certificate of urgency. And the condemnation is coming from everybody. Driver gets 18 years for defiling a 9-year-old girl. According to the Solid Cape Coast Circuit Court has sentenced a 42-year-old driver to 18 years imprisonment for defiling a 9-year-old girl. The convict, Joseph Annan, pleaded guilty to the charge of defilement and pleaded to the court for leniency. However, the court, presided over by Mrs. Dorinda Smith Arthur, convicted Annan on his own plea. Prosecuting Chief Inspector told the court that Mr. Joseph Andu, father of the victim, lives in the same vicinity with the convicts at Wofredu, a suburb of Cape Coast. The court heard that in August last year, whilst the victim was playing in the neighborhood, the convict lured her into his room under the guise of sending her and has sexual intercourse with the 9-year-old girl.
That's
and for that reason, he's going into the cooler for 18 years. I hope that the conditions in the prison will reform him so that when they come out, we will not see 9-year-old girls and start running after them. 34 suspected criminals arrested in Ketu South. That's also in the Ghanaian time. Man jailed 3 months for stealing 6 bags of cement It is also in the Ghanaian Times. Cleaner jailed 12 months for stealing computers. So page 3 of the Ghanaian Times has people who will be spending Christmas in the prisons. If you get it, you get all of it. 160 factories completed under the 1D1F, who is saying that Michael Befiotre, the Deputy Trade Minister. Let me move to the sports page of the paper. We will make Samuel Techi world champion. That's the Ghana Boxing Association. Chess prodigy calls on the Ghanaian Times editor. FIFA balls won AFCON at end of year. It's not going to happen because CAF says that AFCON is taking place from January. FIFA is looking at first the spike in COVID-19 cases. You have more of your stars playing in Europe, which means that they'll have to leave the ongoing competition and come home to Africa to play. And FIFA wanted CAF to push it to the end of the year, but it's not going to happen. The issue about when we stage our Confederation Cup has always been a thorny issue. Some are saying that we should move it to between June and July, where all the leagues have come to an end. The argument from CAF is that around time is a rainy season for Africa.
So to be muddy pitches and
of the party. So anyway, that's your Ghanaian Times for you this morning on the 23rd of December.
On the 23rd of December. All right. Front page, Attorney General lauds staff for preventing judgment deaths. Christian Council condemns brawl in Parliament. Christmas fever, Central Business District choke. Yesterday, I braved the markets.
You went to Accra?
No, I'm not that brave. I went to Medina Market.
Okay.
And mind you, Medina Market is almost like Accra.
Yeah.
The things there, it's not a joke. Anyway, Charlie, in the first place, no. I can't say everything. But finding somewhere to park
was an issue.
Was a massive issue. And then you get out into the market, the human beings there.
Medina is already a major traffic-prone area.
It's not a joke. The place was packed. My sister is going to Accra today, so good luck to her. I don't know why she's braving it. I don't know.
Yeah, there are certain places I don't go at all, whether Christmas or no Christmas. Accra Central is
a place that you don't
go at all.
But I hear that
have no business there.
I hear that there are things in Accra now that you won't get again.
Yeah.
Like once in a year, things that come just before Christmas, and then that's it. You won't get it again.
I think the thing is that stuff at Accra Central is always cheap. People go go and
the
sell
bulk
it.
and then come and sell.
It's usually cheap. That's how
it's usually But front page, Christmas fever, Central Business District choked. That story on page 3. There are all the details. Study finds positive story on Omicron severity. So a new South African study suggests that the risk of severe disease is lower with Omicron than with previous variants. So more transmissible, but seemingly less severe so far. And the thing about COVID is that you just never know. It's so new.
Yeah.
So U.S. opens investigations into 580,000 Tesla vehicles. This parliamentary and unparliamentary behavior must cease. That's everything that happened in Parliament. Okay, that's sorry about the Attorney General on page 16. Okay, all the continuation of the stories. Lots of sales going on. Lots of sales. There's a special supplement, which I'm guessing is, lots of Christmas stuff. Vice President launches e-pharmacy platform. E-pharmacy for e-levy, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
We must review tax agreements according to a report. Let's implement conflict prevention mechanisms to sustain peace. COP Mamiya Tiwa reassigned to
the
presidency. Yeah. Do you want to tell us about that?
Well, I don't know much about it, but there's a police unit there. There's a military unit also there. So all of them, they have their heads. So they have the person in charge of the police personnel who've been deployed to the presidency and the military. So possibly we'll be heading the police units at the Jubilee House.
Okay, that's interesting. No shame in graduates working with hands, that's according to Dr. Ashibe. And then lots of adverts and, and companies that are offering discounts. Ministry of Health launches policy documents on herbal medicine. Don't abuse festive season. That's the Ghana Tourism Authority to event organizers. Yes, no pressure to contest links signee. South African High Commissioner visits Nissan. Intensified campaign against antibiotics misuse. Journalists are being urged. I think, actually, let me just talk about this antibiotics thing for a second.
Okay.
Intensify campaign against antibiotics is great. Journalists have been asked to intensify public awareness against antibiotics abuse. I don't feel like it's a journalist's responsibility to do this. You just need to make sure that you cannot get antibiotics without a prescription.
Absolutely.
Very simple. I mean, when you go to the UK, I remember after living in Ghana for so many years and being able to buy antibiotics over the counter every time you have a cold or a cough, I got to the UK, I started like I had the flu or something. I went to Tesco's, went to the farm, and the guy was like, no, they don't. You can even have like a cold, whatever. You go to the GP, they will not give you antibiotics unless they're absolutely sure it's an infection. So it's really, I get that, okay, Jen, it's really not the journalist's job.
Just like we did for tramadol, I think there should be a national call, and then let's see how.
And it's really just about prescription. And I love, there's some specific pharmacies, for example, Ernest Chemist. And sometimes I get so frustrated, but every time I go to Ernest Chemist, there are certain drugs that I cannot get without a prescription.
Yeah, but
and they
isn't that
stick
how it's
to it.
supposed to be?
Yeah, but that's how,
you can't be self-medicating.
But know that the other pharmacies too, that you can get everything.
Wow.
I mean, it is what it is. So, Pharmacy Council, over to you. Section of Accra Kumasi dualization project open. Fidelity Securities Limited donates medical supplies to Police Hospital. That's it for the Daily Graphic.
So the Daily Guide, Mahama weeps over e-levy. Collins Zauda, $200 million Aglemitra set for January 26. E-pharmacy project takes off, according to the Vice President. Otunfo gets his gold coin. That was launched during the Akwesi Day. Let me bring you the Mahama story because it's making rounds since the tweet yesterday. The former President John Mahama has claimed that the MPP government led by President Nana Akufo-Addo did not consult him on the electronic transaction levy bill, popularly known as e-levy. The debate on whether e-levy should be taken under a certificate of urgency on Monday sparked mass brawl among MPs on both sides of the House, sparking public outrage. According to the former president, it was rather the MPP strategist, Gabi Asare Oshodako, who held discussions with him on the e-levy. He posted on Facebook yesterday that President Akufo-Addo did not seek my intervention on the e-levy. I received Mr. Oshodako on his own request at my residence on Tuesday, 21st December. Among issues we discussed was the desire of Ghana to see the two major political parties working together for the interests of the nation. We discussed also how dialogue can be deployed to ensure parliamentary issues are agreed consensually before coming on the floor to avoid what happened recently in the House.
Interesting.
Do you think President Akufo-Addo should consult Mr. Mahama on e-levy to get his party to back it?
I think it's funny that he's having to do that after the fact. You see, and so many times the NDC parliamentarians have said that NPP still are in the 169 era, where they forget that they don't have the numbers like they used to. I think with such a big thing like this, the groundwork should have been done. You know how usually when something like this is going to happen, Gabi Asare Oshodako will put on his Facebook something, to kind of see the reactions and stuff, but this time everything was quiet and then boom. So definitely, I feel like they should definitely have done a bit more consultation. Yes, perhaps, speak to ex-President Mahama or engage the minority, and then come to some a figure or something that all of this is just so embarrassing.
But doesn't that also question the mentality of our MP, whether they are there representing themselves, representing their party, or representing their constituents, or are they in the interest of the nation?
Well, they are there representing their party, but we know that already. I mean, it is what it is, because really, if they'll say, oh, we're not representing, our party, we're representing the constituents, and this is for the greater good, and we're doing this today.
What is happening, who really are they representing in the House?
Exactly. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. For me, there's a part of me that's really enjoying this. Not all the embarrassing stuff, but the back and forth, because it's quite democratic.
Okay.
You know what I mean? In a way that you can't just have your way. Exactly. So we're gonna, you know, and give us a good reason to put this through. So anyway, we'll see. They're back 18th January.
They are back on the 18th January.
Yeah.
And the matter will be back on the floor again.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they will start from where they left. Whether it should be taken through, it should be considered under a certificate of urgency. And then
well, we live to see.
I hope that the speaker will be in the chair.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it from us for the news review. Elton will be back tomorrow, Christmas Eve, to join us as we do this again. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Oreko Ampofo is in the studio with some sports. And of course, the conversation continues right after that. Don't go anywhere. This is still the AM show.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the AM Sports with me, Oreko Ampofo. Now, FIFA President Gianni Infantino has called for the Africa Cup of Nations to be scheduled as part of the long international break in the autumn. The African Showpiece has been an event which has been held between January and February in the past until the 2019 edition in Egypt, which took place in June and July. Now, as part of plans to making changes to international football, which includes the idea of playing the World Cup every 2 years, Infantino believes an AFCON in the period of September and November will be best for everyone. However, the Ghana Football Association strongly disagrees. Here is Director of Communications, Harry Asante-Chum.
Well, this is not the first time we've had people express their opinion on the Africa Cup of Nations and the timing and all related issues. And it will not be the last time because the Africa Cup of Nations has been around since the foundation of football in Africa from 1957. We've built this brand from 1957 until now. We've had over 30 editions of the AFCON, and we have to respect the brand. Yes, the FIFA president can make his opinion known. I know even there are certain clubs who are reluctant in releasing their players. We respect all that, but the AFCON is the AFCON. We need to preserve the tradition of African football. So the position of the Ghana Football Association is simple, and our position is that we respect the decision of the Executive Council or the Executive Committee of CAF that the tournament should go ahead as scheduled. I've also listened to the CAF president, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, who says the tournament will go ahead according to schedule. And we cannot help but agree with these assertions from the leadership of football on the African continent. AFCON belongs to us. We must preserve and protect the integrity and the dignity of this brand, and that, as far as the FA is concerned, that is what we are seeking to push.
And finally, before we go, renowned boxing promoter Alex Ntiamwa has admonished young Ghanaian boxers to work extra hard if they are to become world champions. The likes of Alfred Lamte has the potential of becoming a world beater, but according to the box office promotion CEO, there are no shortcuts to success.
I can tell you that I've seen these young guys, especially Alfred Lamte, Daniel Gosh, and some of these young guys, they are very, very angry for success. They are pushing to the limit to be able to get the opportunity there. But it's not just a short journey. And most of the time, that's what I tell them, that there is no shortcut to success. They need to work hard as they are working, and they are just kids. I believe it takes maybe 3-4 years, maybe 5 years, maybe 6 years. Some, like Joshua, it took him about 13 years before he was able to achieve the highest level that he could achieve in boxing. So it's not about just rushing into fights or anger for little money. from boxing that people want to entice them with. But if they have people who can advise them well, gradually they can move to that. I know Kome back some time back, he has been putting a lot of sacrifice into this boxing thing, you know, traveling, not having the kind of money that, you know, when you go out there to be used as an opponent that you can get. But the manager collaborated with some of the promoters. He has to spend his money and all that stuff to be able to get some good fights, but not being paid as at that level fight. But it's a way of building, you know, the resume to get the highest thing that he could be. And by God's grace, he was able to win a world title.
That's how we wrap up the sports here on the AM show. You can get some more sports stories on myjoyonline/sports or follow us on social media at Joy Sports GH. My name is Ori Kwampofo and the AM show continues right after this break.
All right, welcome back, and this is still the AM show. So Elton and I were having a conversation earlier on in the news review, if you missed it, and he was telling us about how the Ghana Health Service has been telling us that the daily cases of COVID-19 have gone up from about 4 cases a day to almost 400 a day. So obviously we're not doing very well in terms of the cases that we have at the moment. We have 3,165 active cases, 321 new cases. So figures a little bit not alarming, but definitely very worrying. So we want to speak to Dr. Fred Adumako-Boateng. He's the Bonny East Director of Health, just to sort of pick his mind and his thoughts on these rising figures and what we can do about it. Good morning, Dr. Adumako-Boateng.
Yeah, good morning. And how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's good to talk to you again.
Nice to talk to you too.
Okay, so numbers going up. Were we expecting this, and at this level?
Obviously, I mean, if you look at the what we saw in South Africa, if you look at what we saw in the States, and if you look at what we are seeing in UK, just a matter of 2-3 days, it will be the dominant variant, because now statistics telling us that in US it's now almost the leading. And if you look at the doubling rate for Omicron, every 2 days, or let's say every 1.5, you double the cases. So if you are talking about 2,000, especially within 2 days, we'll be talking about 4,000. And within another 2 days, we'll be talking about 8,000. So you see how Omicron is behaving. So it's something to be expected. It's not out of ordinary we are seeing in Ghana.
Okay, I mean, so that's the behavior of Omicron, but what's about the behavior of Ghanaians? Because I'm sure, if we, maybe had stuck to the protocols, and we always kind of get a heads up when it comes to these new variants, because, it's gotten somewhere else and then we hear about it, and we have, maybe a couple of weeks before it hits us, and we have that space where, we can take precautions and perhaps avoid, getting infected. What's about our behavior? What is it in our behavior that's allowing these kind of numbers as well? 321 new cases.
And that's, the discussion is that our behavior is a reflection of what we are seeing. Time and again, we know the try and tested ways of preventing this pandemic. It's the strict protocols. I mean, we have seen in countries where even the vaccination rate is very high, but the moment they lose guard of the protocols, you see that we come back to square one. So what we are seeing is just a product of how we are adhering to the protocols. And time and again, I think we have emphasized it over and over again, that the basic prevention actually handles almost every pandemic and outbreak that you can think of. Before you think about maybe even the chemicals, for example, drugs or vaccines. So if you're able to stick to the basic preventive methods, and they are not new, irrespective of the variants that we are talking about, people should just wear the mask. It's as simple as that. And if we refuse to do that, hand hygiene should be practiced. And now, we should just decide to cut loud crowds and gatherings, because we know that they are the super spreader. So until we decide, yesterday, a friend of mine got an invitation to come to a party for a housewarming party because somebody had built a house that he's inviting people that he's moving. Can you meet? These are the behavior that are going on. So unless we begin to change, we are in for a hard time.
Yeah.
People are hiding behind the fact that, and that one we have to be careful that the severity is not as much as Delta. But if they are in early days, and if you look at those populations that they are talking about, the rate of their vaccination is really high. And if you can just do the mathematics, it's about 2 to 3 times infectious than Delta. So if you are talking about, let's say, about 50,000 people getting it, you see the burden that will come to our health facility. So if, let's say, you are talking about 20,000 with about, let's see, about 1% of that 20 or 2% of that 20,000 becoming severe and therefore needing hospital admission. Now you are talking about 100,000. And in that case, the numbers that will get the severer form and needing admission and hospital care will be higher, despite the fact that we are saying it's not severe as compared to. In terms of numbers, our health systems are not ready for that. And mind you, our health workers are also going to be involved in this issue. And therefore, the numbers that we need to attend to this will not be there.
Yeah.
And even the kind of infrastructure and expertise that has been our challenge from the beginning of the pandemic has not actually been solved. You need the critical nurses, physicians, emergency physicians, and anesthesiologists to handle these severe numbers, which we have not been able to add over this short period. So I think it's time that we advise ourselves the things that we have planned. And I think I saw this on your news yesterday, that event cancel is better than live cancel by WHO. I think let's go back to that. And all the events that we have planned, it's better we do away with the events so that we can have a better 2022. It's not late yet. We still have the time to be able to address it.
I was just going to ask you about that because you talked about the super spreader events. And obviously, I mean, it's almost a few days to Christmas. There's a lot of events. There's a lot of parties, concerts, raves, and all of those things. What kind of measures do you think that we can put in place now so that we don't see a repeat of last January?
Okay. So I'll go with the basics. One, I'll start from the individual level, family level. Now, it means that if you have not been with somebody within the 2 weeks, if you don't know somebody so close, you have not been having any interaction with somebody within the 2 weeks, 14 days, please, this is not the time that you engage that person. That is on the individual note. So that if you are going for an event, and definitely you are going to meet, quote-unquote, strangers, then you have no business going to that place. That is the first thing. And I think if on individual level you're able to do that, then I think it will address most of the other questions that we are talking about. You don't invite somebody to your house if you have not been so close to the person within even 2 weeks. I have given you the luxury, but if within 7 days. So that's what I would say. Secondly, let's cancel all indoor activities. And even if you are going to do it, I will say that reduce the number to half. Reduce the number to 10. If it's possible, that is what you have to do. And every activity should be outdoor. Now, we know we are going to this Christmas. We have a lot of church services, retreats. Let's look at what we are celebrating. We are going to celebrate the life of the birth of Jesus Christ, which brings about peace, harmony, and then life worth living. So I'm asking the question, the celebration that we are going to go and do, if you look at the long term, is it actually going to achieve the purposes of what we are celebrating? If not, let's think twice. Decision making is not easy, but at times you have to take bold steps. Bold steps. Let's come out and decide together, like, look, let's go back to our social distancing. I believe that the president's directives have not changed in a way that we are supposed to organize our church programs, our mosque, the number of hours we are supposed to be in churches, the number of people that are supposed to be there, the measures that we are supposed to put in place. I believe the directives have not changed. But it seems like the directives have changed. Let's go back to all those and then begin to enforce them. And I believe that if we're able to go that, it will solve a lot of problems. But we have to be bold. That's what I would see anyway.
Okay, all right. Those who are organizing some of these events will argue that they've put so much money into it, you know. And I saw a directive from the Ghana Health Service talking about the fact that churches, for example, 31st service should be held either online or indoors. I mean, now these are great directives, but we know as Ghanaians we haven't had time to kind of get into the mood, because what it's actually been asked of us effectively is to suddenly switch from feeling like we're completely safe and we're okay to chill to, okay, no, actually you're not okay to chill and you cannot go out and you have to switch back to that. So you know how human beings are, we're going to need a bit of time to kind of, you know, get into the vibe of, yeah, we're back on, you know, on not being able to do certain things. How important is enforcement going to be in making sure that the numbers are, you know, are kept at a minimum? Or are we just going to trust, you know, people to do the right thing?
It has to be enforced by the enforcers. It has to be enforced by the enforcers. We will have to. It's not easy to make those decisions anywhere. It's not easy to make. I mean, as you said, a lot of investments have gone in. But yesterday, or about 2-3 days ago, I was discussing with a colleague, and I said, look, despite the investments that have gone in, if you add all these investments, it's not able to buy one soul, any of us, one person. In fact, if all the investments that have gone in, do you really want to miss a love or lose a dear one? Those are difficult decisions. We are not forecast to make those decisions. It's not easy. But what do we do? How many activities and Christmas do we have ahead of us as compared to this? And that even makes it more difficult to take the decision. If it had been any other day, the decision is easier.
Okay.
But now, that is where you have to take the decision. And the enforcement are enforcement. There is no other way that we can discuss all these. If you are even going to hold it, then you have to take responsibility. One, that everybody coming seriously must. Everybody entering, you give sanitizer for them to sanitize their hands. And even when they are in, you make sure that everybody is religiously masking. If there is a need, I will then go back to the fact that then it means that in such programs, even if people are going to eat, it has to be organized in such a way. Because what actually happens is that when people are in mask and they start to eat and they take off their mask and they are talking, that is also another super spreader. When people start talking. So people who are then going to hold the event should be responsible for all these measures. That is what we can see. And then the numbers. mind you, we are not supposed to be in gatherings more than 2 hours. I don't know whether that has changed. So these are, we know what to do. The event organizers should then take their responsibility in ensuring these things. Can we organize these outdoors where it's so safe as compared to things indoor? Because the moment people go indoor, especially, and you know, when they go indoor, they don't even vent, they start using air conditioning and all those. And even that puts a lot of people at risk. The less that the 6 feet that we talk about, the moment you go indoor, it becomes less. So these are the things that we will have to do. Those of us going to the market, going to sit in trucks and taxis, are we going to be in the market? Those are the things that we have to start talking about. Because our behavior today, tomorrow, will show what will happen in about 2-3 days. And mind you, Omicron is not giving anybody that luxury. The doubling rate has never been seen before, and that is what the virus is going to do. If there is also going to be another variant, you see, the doubling rate will be higher, but the severity will reduce, and that is the nice and the wisdom of the virus, so that it will be able to infect a lot of people and survive. So the fact that the severity is decreasing is an advantage for us. It's the survival mode of the virus adapting, so that a lot more can be infected. And if you look at the quantum, the numbers of the severe cases that are going to come, it will be more than the previous one. So that is the way the virus is behaving. It's up to us also to adapt and go back to what we are used to do. So the question is for all of us. Do we celebrate because we have made a lot of investment and pay for it later on? Or do we take the bold step and start cancelling events so that life will not be cancelled?
Yeah. Okay.
These are things that you have to think about. Even if we don't cancel the event, what are the nice ways that we can go around it boldly?
Okay.
And then these are discussions that we should have. And we have a lot of things going on. What is happening in Netherlands now, as we talk about anywhere? What is happening in Germany? You know, Joe Biden came and he's been lambasted with the issues that he spoke on Tuesday, that it has nothing to do. So these are things that we will have to discuss among ourselves in the context of our situation, and then fashion a way out for us as well. Because other than that, the new year will not be a nice new year. Happy New Year, we cannot see for 2022 because of our very behavior. I will still stress on this point that event cancel is better than life cancel. Yeah. And one life is so precious, especially if it's so close to you. God forbid your mother. Yeah. And these issues, you know, the young ones who are energetic for majority of the population, they are in terms of they will survive, but they will bring it to people who are more vulnerable, having the comorbid issues. How do we go about it, all of us together, and address this issue?
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Fred Adumaku-Boateng. He's a Bono East Director of Health, and we're having a conversation on the rising numbers of COVID-19. All right, well, let's move on now. And we're speaking to our friends from the FDA. They're joining us to speak on ensuring food safety during this Christmas season and beyond. And I'm honored to be joined by the Acting Director, Inspectorate Directorate, and Maria Lovelace Johnson. Hello, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Is it Maria or Mariah?
Any.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us this morning, and Merry Christmas to you.
Many happy returns.
So we're really excited about Christmas, and of course, it means that we're going to be eating a lot more. A lot of people, you know, going out and eating. Do you find that around Christmas time, maybe because the demand goes up, so standards tend to drop a little bit more?
Well, thank you very much for the question. Well, to some extent, yes, and then I would say no as well. It's not about the standards going down. It's about the markets being it's about the markets having a lot of products present at that time, at Christmas time.
Okay.
But then the FDA has put in a regulation that doesn't let that happen anymore. We put that in last year. Hitherto, we had the market being flooded with all sorts of products around Christmas time. But we put in this regulation that does not allow products that do not have 2/3 of their shelf life intact being allowed into the country. Hitherto, what was happening was that people go outside the country, they go abroad, and then when there are promotions around August, September, a lot of promotions, and when the things are just about 3-4 months to expiry, they'd say buy one, get one free, and all of that.
Yeah.
So they buy them, and then they get them into the country. When they buy 20-footer containers, about 10-20 of them, a lot of such products. And when they get here, and if before the products get here, it will take about 6 weeks or 8 weeks. So September, they buy somewhere around September, October, November, it gets in. By the time it gets in, they have just about a month or two to the best before dates. And so they go like, don't call me, don't call me, don't call me. And they are not even selling from their own retail outlets. They just give it to the hawkers.
Yeah.
Everybody, all the hawkers just converge in front of their retail points or wholesale places and take all of them and just flood the market with that. So it was really an issue.
Yeah.
And then it gets our market surveillance department to be going out, just trying to see which ones are expired, which ones, and how many days do they have to expire. And these hawkers, traceability with the hawkers was difficult, more difficult with these.
Yeah.
So we said no. Instead of us having the tap flowing and having a mop and just mopping while the tap is flowing, we needed to find a way of closing the tap. So we said 2/3 of shelf life must be intact before you bring it in. So if a product is produced, let's say, on the 21st of January, and it's expiring 21st of January 2021, and it's expiring 21st of January 2022, you have January, so February 1 month, March, April. So by 21st April, 21st May, if you have 4 months of it gone, if it's it has a 12-month shelf life. By the 5th month, you cannot bring it in.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, so we are no more. So that's how I said the question, yes, to some extent. That's been the perception all along. But things have changed drastically.
Okay.
We do not have those ones coming in with standards falling and all of that. Then again, our ports of entry too, we are not allowing unregistered products into the country.
Okay.
That's also another thing we have put in. Initially, we were bringing them, they were bringing them to their warehouses, we were detaining them because we didn't have FDA warehouses, so to speak. They were keeping them in their own warehouses. We were locking, and then they were locking as well. We had keys. Some way, somehow, sometimes they had ways of taking some out and all of that. Maybe we know one entrance, who knows, they can do a second entrance.
Exactly,
and then we were sometimes even detaining under their own case. So when we come back and they have taken, there will be an issue. There were still some people who were finding ways and means. So now, if it is not registered, we are not allowing it into the country. So these are things we have put in place that have to a large extent reduced the fact that around this time we have standards falling or things that do not meet FDA standards being on the market. So we have done a lot in that regard.
Okay.
To some extent, still on your first question, dented products. Those ones are things that are on the market. It has to be our market surveillance thing. And before a product just gets dented, it's a very little thing. It's like something that just falls, and then there's an impact. So we are telling consumers, it is not the best to buy dented products. And so people to know that FDA is educating people, the population, telling them dented products are not the best. So what they are doing is buy one, get one free to entice people to buy dented products.
Yeah.
And the thing about dented products is that, let's say if it is a can, I was checking if you have a can here.
No,
if it is a can, on top of the can, you know, there is a lid. And the lid closes the can and locks it, completely. Yeah. So that it is hermetically sealed. In that case, there is no air going to enter. When there is an impact at the point close to the junction of the lid, and body, whatever, there is sometimes some bit of it goes in and it allows some water to enter. And when some air to enter, and you know, microorganisms are ubiquitous. Wherever they are, or wherever there is air,
they all find a way. Yeah.
So if air has the ability to enter that can,
there's a problem.
It will follow. Microorganisms will follow, and then they get in there. And when they get in there, there is a problem. When they get in there, they are going to respire and give out the air, gases, and all of that. And you get the cans even bloating.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And yes, and when they bloat, you think, oh, maybe it's filled with so much corned beef. So you may, but that is, and that is very dangerous. Sometimes the bloating is not just due to the impact causing the, maybe under processing. And you see, it can kill you, or the best it can do is paralysis. That's the best. So it is really fatal. You do not have to go close to bloated cans. And even still with the dented cans, there are some that the impact will not be at the junction of the lid body, but just on the body. So there may not be the possibility of air entering in, but just on the body. But on the body, there is always a lining of the can, of a metal, such that the food product will not have a direct interaction with the metal can, the metal of the can, because almost all the foods have low acids. Low acid canned foods, so there is some bit of acid in. So the lining, like the lacquer, epoxy resin, and all of that, they act as a barrier to prevent the direct interaction. So if there is an impact, it may chip off, just like, let's say, enamel bowls, enamel pans that we use in their homes. Sometimes when they fall off, you realize that it chips off, and then the metal is exposed. I don't know if you've seen some before. There are those.
Yeah, yes. I have, yeah.
So those ones, how you see the metal exposed is what could be the possibility of the happening due to the impact on the can. On the can, yeah. Yes. So when you see dented cans, some of these things are also really. Why don't you just avoid it?
Yeah, completely.
Even if it is buy one
get two free. Yes.
We have to avoid it.
Does that mean that in a way, it's not absolute, it's not a rule, but we should maybe over this Christmas period be a little bit wary of the freebies?
Yes, to a very large extent, because even in Fanti, they say obi into a nakoko berikwa, which means nobody sells the layer for nothing. If you are selling your layer, it means that the layer is a very old layer, because it's a layer that's going to lay eggs for you. Why sell the layer when it's going to lay thousands of eggs for you? You would rather sell the broilers.
Of course, yeah.
So why sell a layer? So if anyone is selling a layer, you ask yourself, what is it? Well, the layers too are nice. Why not? Everybody likes that. Likes nice things. So it's nice to have a freebie, but just do an assessment yourself.
Okay.
Look at it. Okay, buy one, get two free. This is product A. Let me look at the best before date. Okay, it's ABC or whatever. 30 days to expiry. Okay, I have a family of 5. Let's say it's about milk. We take a can of milk or 2 cans of milk a day. Let's say a can of milk a day, and it's 30 days to expiry. I'm not going to take more than that. So if I buy one, I get one free. Let me buy 15 and I get 30. Instead of thinking that buy one, get one free. So I'm buying 3 boxes because even the buy one was being reduced and all of that. So I'm buying 3 boxes. And then at the end of the 30 days, what happens? Am I now going to eat? Well, unless of course I change the diet, that I'm going to make a milk diet in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. If I do that assessment and I think that we are going to really, so everybody should do the assessment, because once something like that is happening, there may be something. There may also be that somebody just wants to introduce a product, and it's just that it's during Christmas time that people now have time. I mean, we're always running around, going to work and all of that. Around Christmas, at least you get a few days to spend at home. So there will be that possibility of, let me drink something, let me take something. Yes, you see. So everybody kind of gains some little weight after Christmas and all of that. So really, let me introduce it and people will be having more.
So I just clarify for us, you know, on some products you see best before, and then on some products you see expiry date. What's the difference?
Best before date is telling you that if you take this product before such a date, the integrity of the product, as in the characteristics of the product and all of that, may not be as it was in the beginning, may not be as I claim it should be, may not be as what the product has to be. So let's say something like biscuits, and then the crunchiness of the biscuits. So you take a biscuit that is close to best before date, and then the biscuits, no, that has the best before date elapsed, and the biscuit has gone flat. So you say, well, the biscuits are flat. That was not the biscuit that producer did. Producer or manufacturer did it as a crunchy, crispy biscuit, and then it came out like that. So that is, if you want the biscuit with all its characteristics, its texture, uncompromised and all of it, it is best before such a date. Expiry date has it that if you take it on such a date, it has expired and it may have dire consequences. Okay. But having said that, for me, be it best before date or expiry, you are not a guinea pig. You are using money to buy the thing. So avoid both. And use the biscuits example I used like this, the crunchiness of the biscuits. It's gone flat. You may think there is nothing wrong, but what has caused it to go flat? What has caused it to go flat is that it's been there for a long time, and the packaging is such that after a while, it has the biscuits have imbibed some water, some vapor from the atmosphere, and it has caused the crunchiness to be lost, the water that has come in. And we all know that the germs, microorganisms, like things with a higher water activity. So if biscuits would have taken 5, I mean, it really doesn't get spoiled early. Now that it's imbibed the water, the microbes are going to start working in it. They will be in it, they are living, they are breathing, and with time, you may even see it's going moldy. So you see, the best before is even to some extent related to it. It's just lost its crunchiness, but the implication is that the vapor is higher. The water activity has gotten higher. So microbial growth is going to be higher. And as the microbial growth is going to be higher, toxins are going to be produced, and pathogenic microorganisms that are going to produce that toxins. And it may result in foodborne illnesses.
Okay, that's really good to know. So before I let you go, though, is it possible for you to just run through the things that we should look out for as we're doing our shopping in terms of packaged products and all of that? And then what about the fresh stuff as well? So, you know, we're picking our cheeses, our processed meats, you know, and even, you know, chicken, goats, you know, all those things from behind the counter or the cold store. So what do we look out for to make sure that we're getting good stuff?
Okay, so to start with the fresh stuff, yes, definitely FDA is in charge of all of that. With the cold stores, to a very large extent, we've licensed almost all of them.
Okay.
Retail shops to all the meat processing counters and all of that too. We have trained and licensed them.
Okay.
We know how they are working to a very large extent. What we all have to look out for basically is all these things should be frozen or cold, kept cold.
Cold.
The cold cuts should be kept cold.
Okay.
So yes, it may not be practical going around with your thermometer,
sticking it into everything.
But then you kind of have an idea of when we say cold. I mean, highest for the meats and fishes should be 5 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
Because then again, it all has its basis from microbial growth. The microorganisms will not do well under 5 degrees Celsius. Anything above 5 degrees Celsius,
then they can
start multiplying, growing, multiplying, producing their toxins, and we having an issue. So basically, if you have it there, you can keep that okay. And then the ones that are kept at ambient temperature, like just the fresh products, I mean, really, you make sure that they are sold well, the environment is okay, you are not going to get microbial contamination and all of that. People even selling things. And of course, people are going to end up going to the restaurants and parties and all of that. You go, if you're even taking somebody to do some catering stuff for you, check if the person has a food hygiene permit. If the person has a food hygiene permit, then you can even engage the person to do food for you to serve others, because it's about people's lives. As we go to parties and salads are sold or served, please, salads must be served on ice. No compromise.
Okay.
On ice, so that it must be cold. Any warm salad next to the buffet table where the fire is and next to it, you know you're in for disaster. The next moment or the next day, the washroom will be you'll
be there,
I mean, really. And sometimes it's not just that, and then you're vomiting as well, and then the nausea and the feeling. I mean, really, it's a lot.
It's not worth it.
It's at all. Already Hamatan is in, and people are having all these kind of colds, and people even scared of whether it is Omicron and all of that.
I know, right?
Yes, we never can tell.
And you want to add running stomach and
vomiting. I mean, you may not be able to. So let's just be very careful, especially because of the Omicron and whatever, the COVID issues. Don't go and add an unnecessary one. That one is not so controllable. I mean, we are just doing all we can do, masking up and social distancing and all that. But then you cannot really control. This you can control because it is what you take in. So whatever you are taking in, please ensure it is good. People going out to buy meat and fish and all of that should take ice chests with ice or ice packs. I mean, really, sometimes when we say ice packs and they think it's being a bit complex, just buy the people who tie water. Just buy or sachet water. If you like, if you know you're going, just go get some sachet water, put them in your freezer. 3-4 days, or I mean a day or two, you pick about 4 or 5 sachet blocks in from your freezer. Put them in your ice chest. Simple life. It's not really like go look for. Yes. So that we get all of that on ice. And
we should be safe, make it out alive. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And thank you for all the little bits of information. We'll try to stay safe out there this Christmas. Thank you so much. I'm speaking to Maria Lovelace Johnson, Acting Director, Inspectorate Directorate of the FDA. All right, well, let's move on to our end of year parliamentary series. Another Kwesi Parker Wilson conversation with son of late Vice President Alhaji Aliyu Mahama. Now, in this interview, Farouk Aliyu Mahama asks the governing New Patriotic Party to consolidate the gains of MPs in their strongholds. He also says he regrets asking General Secretary of the Opposition, NDC, to walk out of the chamber the night the MPs had a scuffle over the approval of the 2022 budget. You don't want to miss this one.
The year 2021 has been quite an interesting year for members of parliament, especially looking at the nature of the equal strength of numbers we have in the chamber. And today we're going to have a conversation with a member of parliament for Yendi constituency. It's been almost a year since, in fact, a little over a year since he was elected into into Parliament to represent the people of Yendi. I'm talking about Omar Farouk Aliu Mahama. Honorable, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
And I mentioned Yendi. In fact, we have a lot to talk about. I mentioned Yendi. I just saw on your wall the Yendi dream.
Yes.
What's the Yendi dream about?
Yendi is the traditional capital of Dagbon. And for decades, we were ill-developed in terms of where we want to be. Okay. The President of the Republic, after being sworn into president, promised the people of Ghana that he's going to resolve the Dagbon. Now, due to these inconsistencies in peace, we had less development and we didn't get where we were supposed to be. So before I became a member of parliament, after having a president who made sure we had peace in Dagbon, what was critical and what was needed was to have a sense of unity and development in terms of growth and having Yendi to be where it's supposed to be. So when I was contesting election, I had this dream, which was the Yendi dream and the new Yendi city. A Yendi city that is going to have all the benefits in terms of good infrastructure roads, having good amenities, getting all the dream to see Yendi. And I think that we've been able to achieve that with the President of the Republic of Ghana and the support of the Vice President and myself. Have been able to make sure that we have started on a very, very good, and I think that Yendi dream will be realized in the next 4 to 10 years.
So the dream is on course.
It's on course, yes.
And that the Yendi city is about ensuring that the infrastructure is developed properly.
Yes, and getting Yendi to be like a standard city that the world deserves of a traditional capital.
I see. Now let's talk about Parliament. It's been a little over a year since you were elected into the House. Yes. For you as a young politician, as you say. What has been your own experience in Parliament, looking at the nature of the numbers we have?
Thank you very much. I think it has been a dream to follow the lineage of my ancestors. My maternal grandfather, the late Mori Gala, was the member of Parliament. My mom's father was a member of Parliament for Tumu. And having been named after him, and having had the dream to fight to get to Parliament, and to have won with 16,000 votes difference and the highest number of votes in the North region.
I see.
It tells you that I came into Parliament with a statement. That is, I brought that desired numbers that was needed for both presidential and parliamentary. But the first night that I was coming into Parliament to fulfill the dream of coming into Parliament, to fulfill the dream of my ancestors and my father, it was a bad night and it didn't really go well for us. And the experience wasn't good. But Almighty Allah knows why he gave us this 8th Parliament, and it's seen it to be very, very tight. But it also should.
But did you have regrets at the time, looking at the chaotic scenes?
Yes,
you had regrets at the time coming to Parliament?
No, not regret, but I had regret of the situation of that night, being the first night, and what message we were sending across to the international world, having to let the president wait for his swearing in order wasn't a good sign, because Ghana is a beacon of hope and a beacon of peace and a well ranked in the democracy of this country. It was very, very important that we set standards right in Parliament. But who can we blame? We blame ourselves and blame the Almighty Allah, and also think that what has happened, both NDC and MPP, is a lesson for us to learn. Politics is about negotiation, politics is about compromise, politics is about having that leadership skills which our leaders have on the side of our party, to be able to negotiate with the other side, so that at the end of the day, both NDC and MPP, the beneficiary will be the Ghanaian people.
You talk about compromise, and this one, let me just be quick on that. Currently, we are looking at a situation where many are saying that your party and, of course, the majority caucus is not ready to compromise on certain issues here in Parliament.
Why wouldn't we want to compromise? At least with the leadership led by Osache Mensabosu, my senior colleague and my good mentor, Amino Afenyo Markin, and was my good friend Ano and Habib, are doing all they can. Let's give them that benefit of that. They've done a lot. But NDC as a party has its own rules and regulations. But at the end of the day, no matter the stance they take, at the end of the day, still consider the good of Ghana. And I think both the NDC and MPP and my senior brother, Harun Edrusu and Montaka, have also conducted themselves well. And at the end of the day, it's a teamwork. And that's what we are doing. And I can see that everything is going well. But we must always compromise and have that skills of negotiation, skills to negotiate well. I'm a good negotiator, and I know that my leaders who are also there leading us, both the two majorities, both NDC and MPP, are all level-headed people, and obviously the end of result is the Ghana people.
Let's talk about Farouk. So I asked about your experience in Parliament so far. Has it been good for you? Has it been amazing? Has it been stressful?
Yeah, it's been good. I've been moved from a situation that you were working in Ghana Cocoa Board, coming to Parliament, being a lawmaker, being responsible and having the mandate to make sure that your people that who brought you into power, you're working for them in terms of getting them the right jobs, making infrastructure development, making sure that you do the humanitarian work that is desired. Parliament is a good experience. It tells you, knows the orders, the standing orders, gives you the how to, it's a procedural way of understanding, and also being a privileged position for you to understand that it is a house of laws and you must follow the laws and be punctual to work. And also it's a good experience. At least one day I should be able to share my experience with my children for being an MP.
I see, but for being an MP, one of the major things you need to do is to ensure that you work at the constituency as against what you do in Parliament. And looking at the numbers, 137, 137. How are you able to juggle between the two?
It's not
because the most important.
It's not 137.
Oh, 137 plus 1.
Yeah, so 138.
In your favor.
Yeah, in our favor. So
Right.
we are the majority side.
Yeah, the majority caucus.
Yes. So it's been a very tough time. Obviously, we have always wanted to be on the grounds. I have been very, very visible in my constituency from January to date. My constituents know that. And through my work and visibility in my constituency, even as Sempa did some surveys of first 10 MPs, which the first quarter was part, second quarter was part. I'm preparing to go to celebrate Christmas with the Kunkum and the Christian Committee and the HSCCND. It is the attitude of the MP, irrespective of the tightness of your schedule at Parliament, but still make time for your people. That would give you that leverage for them to know that even though the Parliament is tight, but you still make time for your people.
You see, Parliament has been tough.
Yes.
How tough is it?
Traveling from your constituency, coming early in the morning to make sure you're at Parliament. You don't have limit time to get to your constituency, and always sitting till getting midnight decisions and all that. But it's an experience that is preparing us for the future. And who knows, our predecessors or former MPs who have all gone through have seen that. But this 8th Parliament is a unique one, and we must learn from this 8th Parliament.
How unique is the 8th Parliament in your own assessment? How unique is the 8th Parliament?
The numbers are the issues here. Right. It's very tight, and it's a lesson for both the MPP and NDC. If you look at places that you have MPs that can win the seats and that can continue to win the seat for you, you must have a way of making sure that the MPs consolidate their seat, help them to consolidate their seat. Another look at areas that they cannot get MPs with to support those people to invest.
I mean, not to cut you, but are you suggesting that if the party has observed in years gone by that certain candidates are able to win their seats in some constituencies, they need to work to ensure that they win the seat?
They win the seat, yes.
Wouldn't that be an imposition?
It's not an imposition. In politics, you look at the numbers and see those the worst case scenarios and those who can win the seat for you. And when you support them to win, you don't have the headache to go and resell that candidate again to the people again. So it's something that this 8th Parliament should teach us lessons to know that let's consolidate our strongholds and rather look for places that we cannot win to get.
But the NPP, I know, is a democratic party. You believe in democracy. You have to give the people the opportunity. You elect their MPs.
Nobody's saying you should elect MPs. I'm saying that with all that has happened, it's also a decision that or a suggestion that we should take up go in the future to minimize the sense of having the SWOT analysis, giving chances to every individual MP and see if he continues, can he win? If he's going to win, why do you have to distress the person to not go again and rather give you a situation that we are having today?
So in this case, if I understand, should there be an opportunity for a contest?
Obviously, the party is
especially when you do the SWOT analysis and you see that your candidate is winning.
But obviously, MPP being a party from our fathers and our generations and our forebears, there's always been competition. So I'm open to a competition, but we should look at this critically going forward in the future.
I see. Now, a few weeks ago, you were captured in a video in Parliament.
Yes.
I personally saw you looking up in the public gallery, and then that's when I saw Katia, the General Secretary of the NDC, to leave the chamber.
Yes.
Why are you doing that?
It's not about me. It's, we are backbenchers.
Okay.
And then when we meet and we see that the Ken Oforiatta, our finance minister, came to Parliament, tried to appeal for them to give him an opportunity for him to do what? To re-engage both parties. And the manner in which he was walked out, and somebody who is a very respected finance minister. And I think it angers some of the MPs. and they made a...
It angered you?
Were you angered? I felt angered because a finance minister who's working for the people of Ghana and working for us, for our country, a very hard-working Kenoforiata, would come in and would be embarrassed in such manner. But he was disciplined enough to leave. So obviously, with the citing of what's the name, the General Secretary, even though we know that he's part of the Parliamentary Service Board, we know, but we also thought it was improper that if he will be there, then he must also leave. And we took the decision, and not only me, collectively, we, OPK and other people decided to but it's something that is a regrettable situation, yes.
You regret your action?
Yes, yes.
That you were shouting and asking him to leave?
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
So you admit that that was a disrespect to the member of the Parliamentary Service Board?
No, it wasn't a disrespect, but you know, we are loyal to our party and loyal to our minister. So obviously, if the minister had to walk out, obviously, the secretary too must leave. Our remorsefulness is not geared towards the secretary. It's just the posturing that we had in Parliament, and seeing you on TV doing that is not a good posturing. So that is why we...
Why did you get calls from your constituent expressing disappointment in you?
My constituents were happy, and a lot of people were happy, but you know, as a father and who has wife and children, you go, your children will say that if we saw you doing it, it doesn't look right. So that is why I feel remorseful. Yes.
Oh, I see. So your children were saying that it wasn't good.
Not my, no. My children, they said that we saw you on TV.
Okay.
And a few friends sent me the videos. But I looked at it, and after, I'm a human. I should have had that level of remorsefulness. And as a human being, you should always accept that when you do something and you see that it is even was in a dark direction, but you always have to have that sense of remorsefulness to look at it and say that, yeah, let it go, yeah.
That day was triggered by the minority. I know the minority had a very entrenched position that day, which led to some of your action. Would you say that for you, coming to this 8th Parliament, the minority is giving the majority a very tough time, a very difficult moment?
Yes, yes, you're very well, very well. And at the same time, to also compromise. As much as they are giving us difficult times, they are also giving us, at the end of the day, when the judge goes in, come back. Because I know Harun Edrusu is like a senior brother, Muntaka. They are very seasoned politicians. They are seniors. And in respect of our political background, both NDC and MPP, Harun is somebody, and Muntaka is very nice guys who understand. But you can also take out from our legendary Chairman Sabonsu and my godfather, Fenyo Makin. They are all learned. All in all, we have an 8th Parliament that is very, very tough, but with top leaders from both sides, and I believe that at the end of the day, when everything were there, they come back to the compromise. And
but I mean, the manager has threatened that consensus will suffer going forward.
We will not suffer. It is their stand, but I'm not going for it. They also
cooperation and consensus.
If you look at the speech that Otu forgave, we cannot let the government suffer. And a lot of there's more into it than what we see. Okay. It's not about giving tough time to government, but other governments will come and go. It's what case are we preparing for that? Is it for the future? Is it that if you're in a position, you should frustrate government? No, I mean, NPP has also had their time, NDC had their time. And the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa, is achieving a lot of things for this country. And also looking at what the Finance Minister is bringing, it is also to help us get more taxes to be able to solve the problems of this country. So we should be able to let this go, and at least by 1st January, we are out of here.
So going forward, would you ask the minority to heed the advice of
they should tone down, and not necessarily. A lot of them have been in governments, and they should tone down and let us look at Ghana first, irrespective of where we come from. Ghana first. When we have Ghana first, we will come to parties later.
So in effect, Parliament is no more fun for you. Parliament is no more fun.
Parliament is fun. It's George's situation. It toughens us. It gives us a situation of in the future when we also get a position to be leaders. We also have that skills to negotiate. And in everything, you must have everything tough before you be able to get it easy.
I see. Now, let's talk about your appointment. I mean, earlier this year, we picked up information, I mean, from the grapevine that you were tipped for deputy ministry appointment, but we later were understood that we were being given the board chair of GISDEC.
Yes.
Was there expectation of getting a deputy ministry appointment?
Obviously, I'm a human being, and also aspire, having had a father who was the former vice president of the Republic of Ghana and the President Kufuor, and the first team from the MPP to bring us into power after 30 years. And having worked as my own self after the demise of my father to get to the position of where I am, and having won with the biggest margin. of the Republic of Ghana is the commander-in-chief and the appointing authority. He has the power to appoint. And the fact that he doesn't appoint you doesn't mean that he doesn't want you. Obviously, the president, with his wisdom, would know that the future is still bright, and it's his wish to also grow us in the future. So I was a bit disappointed at the earlier stage, but God's time is the best, and the president is the appointing authority, and he's like a father to me. And what he's giving me now is better, and he believes that I can do better. And based on my performance, would even get him to know that I have the capacity, and wherever he wants to put me in the future.
Which of the ministries were you eyeing to be the deputy?
I was not eyeing any ministry. I was just eyeing to be a deputy minister.
Yes. Okay, so just a deputy minister. Yes. You didn't know which ministry.
But it doesn't matter. I'm now a board chairman. And I'm doing well, and I'm working hard with my Minister of Lands and with the support of the President, wanting to leave a legacy of the iron and oil industry. It's very, very important. So the President is also helping us, and we're going to achieve our aim, inshallah, before the end of 2024.
And we're board chair. I mean, it's been a little over 6 months.
Yes.
What's been your major achievement within this area in the last 6 months?
Yes, as my major achievement, you know, first of all, we inherited 3 concession sites. That is the Sheni side, which is my side, the Akpafu area, and the Pormanse. And since we took over, we needed to do a mineral resource estimation of the country's resources, especially in the Akpafu area. And as we speak, the board had taken a decision, and we've started with the mineral resource estimation, and we've started working to know by the end of 9 months, we know the actual estimates we have in the country. We are also venturing to inviting private partnership with the minister and the president is open to. So we've started, and we've got a drill that is going to work with a geological service department, so that going forward we'll not spend money to rent drills and to use it to get the actual drilling for the industry, to be able to know all the expectations. And then we're also engaging some Russians and some Saudis to come and take up the Sheni Akpafu area, the Sheni area and the Akpafu area. So all in all, we've started, since we started, we've got started with the mineral resource estimation of Akpafu area, which has started, and we've got a rig that is going to come in with a geological survey to come together, to work together as the data, as much as we are also going to do we've done community engagements with the community to let them know what the committee. I went around with the board, with the Yana and all the chiefs. We went to Bupeura and other chiefs. We're going to visit Otunfo Osetutu. We're going to visit President Kufuor. We're going to visit Ochehine to seek their blessings. And all in all, next year, we should be able to have an investor who would come in. We are preparing for a master plan that is going to be a basis that we're going to use to woo in investors. And at the end of the day, by 2022, we should be able to get something.
So what is the estimate you're really looking at the minerals?
We have 6.4 million metric tons in this country, both the Sheni and the Akpafu and the Pormanse. And we've started doing the mineral estimation in Akpafu, which is a virgin area, which is a very rich area too. Yendi, which is the biggest Sheni area, which is 1.7 million metric tons. We're also looking at getting an investor. This morning I was talking to the Russian ambassador and the Saudis, and they are ready to come in for us to look at how we can package it and get it started. All in all, we should be able, and the president is very, very eager to let us get results, and we also deliver with the minister and the support of the minister, my brother Abu Jinapa. We should be able to achieve something great for us.
So you're certain that forecast for next year will be a lot of revenue generation for Gisdek?
Yes. Not revenue generation. We're going to do what we call fact finding to know the actual concession values we have. Based on that, we use it to, that's the mineral resource estimation. If you don't know your country's mineral resource estimation, whatever you are doing, you are going to do it out of no data. And the Sheni area too, we are looking for investors, which we are engaging. We are going to do an investor memorandum with them, an investor engagement. And all in all, next year should be an action year.
Next year is an action year?
Yeah, for just that.
I see. I see. Well, your father, of course, your late father, was the vice president of this country, which you have talked about. And for every young politician, you aspire, as you said, of course, you're aspiring for a deputy ministerial position, which now didn't happen. I'm just asking, I mean, are you also interested in being a vice president of this country?
I'm proud to have a father who was the first Dagomba Muslim vice president, specifically from Yendi. And my daddy didn't just wake up to be vice president, he worked hard to get to where he is. And also having had a grandfather who was a Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Trade, and the first black chairman of Kokobo. Obviously, there's some blood of political lineage in me. In life, you have to start my dad was not an MP. I've started as an MP. I'm still young. I'm just 40. And obviously, we're bidding our time to work hard to make the people see what we have and trying to build our own brand. That is ourselves. What we pray is for long life and prosperity. My father was vice president. I would even want to be greater than my father.
So you're aspiring to be the #1 gentleman of the land?
I'm saying that.
You aspire to be greater than him?
Yes.
Then you aspire to be the president of the land?
Why not? Why can't I? If I work hard.
So you want to be the president of the land if the opportunity comes?
I'm still a young guy. I'm
Right.
praying for long life. Let's take one step. I'm an MP. This is my first term. I'm wishing to go for my second term. Nobody knows more. But obviously, being the son of a former vice president, I shouldn't aspire for anything less than something greater than my father. Yes.
I see. So one can conclude, the viewers can conclude that, Farouk perhaps wants to contest as the flag bearer of the governing MPP?
Why not? Am I not an MPP? I've paid my dues in the party. My father paid his dues. I worked hard as an MP. I'm still working hard. I'm still a young guy. Why not? You give birth. A proverb in Tree says, obviously, I should, and I have a belief that if I work hard, I should be able to succeed in the future, which inshallah it will happen.
There's a major contest coming up in this by flag bearership. What do you stand? Say Alan,
I stand for breaking the 8.
You stand for breaking the 8?
Yes.
But is that possible, breaking the 8?
Why not? Why not? The President of the Republic has done a lot of work for us, and whoever that's going to take over from the President will have a good story to tell. If we are united, if we are together, whether Alan or Baumia, we will be able to break the 8. And I think that is what is important.
Your critics say you're only flexing muscles with the wind. Looking at what's happening, events, even for this year alone, it will be very difficult for the NPP to break the 8.
Why can't we break? The President is going to work hard to let us have the foundation to step on to break the 8. The break the 8 starts from us, the MPs, starts from the grassroots, starts from everybody. If we respect each other, if we take care of the grassroots, if the grassroots feel appreciated, if the people who voted us feel appreciated, we get jobs for the youth, we get employment for the youth, we get the youth in business, like the new program the President through the Finance Minister, the Youth Start. The Youth Start is a capital orientation that gives young men some little capital so that be your own entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship doesn't mean you should depend on government. And when we're able to, especially this Youth Start of the President, trust me, when we do it, we should be able to achieve something great for this country.
So you're confident the breaking of the 8 is possible?
Inshallah.
But there are those who say that the internal party politics may affect the MPP's fortune. I mean, acrimony, bad-mouthing, mass-slinging.
We have learned lesson from 2008 when my dad and President Akufo-Addo co-contested. It wasn't handled well. But I think this time, with the experience of the President and what he has seen, he will not supervise, and the party will not supervise that again this time. And I believe the President, with his experience, wants to hand over to an MPP, and he will do what is right for us to have a cohesion.
In your view, how should the party handle this internal upcoming campaign, particularly the flag bearership race?
We should take it easy. All those who are contesting for flag bearership are MPP who have performed creditably well so far. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia is a first-class vice president, very, very competent and very hardworking, and a Muslim vice president for the North, and to be the second person to come from the North after the Aliyu Muhammad in 2007 to contest for flag bearership. Honorable Anchamati is a party man, a young executive firm, distinguished himself as a trade minister, very well noted in this party. Honorable Ajako, energy minister, he has done well for the party as an energy minister. His father himself was a party the party. Honorable Okoto Afriye, his father too was part of the formation of the party. He's an Greek minister. He's doing well for himself. And I don't know who, and Jogati, a very seasoned lawyer, also doing well for himself. And who again, I think I died in all of them. All are all MPP strong members. What we just need is God would only choose one. It's the same way 17 people contested President Akufo-Addo, and God is the one who chose him. But this time it's God who's going to choose the best. And we must look at beyond the primaries and look at how the end result is what matters, and that is to win 2024. That's what is important.
Honorable, thank you very much. But before I go, would you throw your weight behind Dr. Baumia?
It's, for now, the party has a code of conduct, and yesterday we were giving strong warnings. And as a leader of my constituents, I keep everything to my chest.
You give everything to your chest. Yes. So you are here to disclose who you throw your weight behind.
At the right time.
I see. But the MPs, the majority caucus, who are they throwing their weight behind? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
You don't know that?
Yes.
There's not any discussion?
No, there's no. It's too early.
It's too early to have a discussion.
Yes.
I see. I see. Right, so we are going for Christmas. What will be your words to your constituent? I mean, of course, those you are building a Yendi dream for.
Yeah. I wish to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and to speak a little bit of Dagomba in 2 minutes. Assalamu alaikum Nayanama MP Mbo Agentara Honorable Farouk Ali Umama Tipyala Brunyanet Zalampun Sorotere Ndanyana Nanam Kambambe Nea party executives, party police station executives, Nanamza passable in the chamber. Now check at you know what the Grigama now Tumtala Vecati to solo, Katiane Sotuma Manila solo Katian Zangbub Tabaka check at Chantoni, the now check at the Burnyama and Alafi. There's a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Honorable. Farouk Ali Mahama is the Member of Parliament for Yendi constituency. Of course, today he blessed us in his office as we engage in one-on-one in the conversation.
Thank you.
Once again, we wish you a Merry Christmas. I am Chrissy Baker-Wilson, and this is Joy News.
Welcome back. This is still the AM show. Now, Waylead Properties is joining us this morning, and they're going to be telling us all about their Christmas packages. Emmanuel Nyako is sales manager with Waylead. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so what exciting things do you have for us? Okay, I guess I should start with tell us a little bit about Waylead Properties.
All right.
And then tell us the exciting things that you have for us.
Okay, so Waylead Properties, a real estate firm in Ghana. We are in our 10th year, so we are celebrating our 10th anniversary. And
this is your anniversary cloth,
yes,
right?
Please.
Okay, what do the symbols mean?
It's the Dinka symbols.
Okay.
So we are celebrating our 10 years anniversary, and within these 10 years, we've developed 3 projects in Ghana.
Okay.
Vista de Marais at East Airport, Le Jardin Symphonique at Sakumono, Alphabet City also at Sakumono, and our 4th project is also coming on board in 2022.
Okay.
But now we are selling Le Jardin Symphonique and Alphabet City.
Okay.
Alphabet City is an apartment, 6-floor apartment with elevator, 2 and 3 bedroom, very affordable, in a gated community and well managed.
Okay.
I think most apartments in our country are not well managed, so people don't want apartments. We are not selling just apartments for you. We are selling the apartments, we are managing it to make sure that your property appreciates in price.
Okay.
And then we also have the Le Jardin Symphonique. Now we have 4 and 5 bedroom available.
Okay.
Also at Sakumono.
Okay. And then this new project in 2022, are you going to tell us about that?
Yes. So on our social media, we are still looking at the name.
Okay.
That we are going to, but definitely it's going to be a 4-bedroom detached and semi-detached unit, 3-story, very spacious, and something is coming, and we are going to launch it. So our viewers should keep in touch with us, and then the launch will be massive, good discount. But the project that we are selling now, we are also giving some good discount. Now, it's 2-in-1. It's Christmas, and we have to give back to society, and it's our 10th anniversary. So we are giving mega discount on our houses,
okay,
plus other additional giveaways. So, for example, if you are buying within December and then by 15th of January, we are finishing your kitchen for you. We are giving everything that you need in your kitchen, and so forth. So we are adding a lot of things. And within this holiday season, too, if you are visiting our site, we are also giving you special package. So what we call the Waylead bag. There's a lot of goodies in the bag for you.
Okay, that sounds really exciting. But what have the past 10 years been like for you? Are you a Ghanaian-owned company?
All right, so Waylead is not a 100% Ghanaian-owned company, but we believe in partnership.
Okay.
So all our projects have been in partnership with local investors.
Okay.
So our first project, Le Jardin Symphonique, was in partnership with some local investors.
Okay.
And then our current project is also in partnership with a Ghanaian company.
Okay.
Yeah, so we do partnership. We provide the technical, the financial, and then our partners also provide the land.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what have the past 10 years been like for you?
The past 10 years, I would say it's very good. We've provided quality and affordable housing solution for the Ghanaian market. Also, we've successfully completed 2 projects. Vista Demara at East Airport, 22 luxurious townhomes. And then Le Jardin Symphonic, 57 luxurious townhomes at Sakumono. We have about 3 to go. Alphabet City, we are doing about 10 blocks now. The first 2 blocks are 100% sold out.
Okay.
So it's good. It's good.
It's been good.
Yes.
I mean, what was about, during COVID, the real estate market for the past few years has taken a bit of a dive. Maybe not so in Ghana, actually. What has that been like?
It affected a wide range of businesses. But because of how we relate to our customers, we still get some referrals. And because of the quality of houses that we are providing and the flexibility with our payment plan, we understand our customers to the extent that when COVID came, we wrote to some of our customers that if they can't pay, we understand the situation. We gave them time. We extended the payment plan for some of our customers. So we are a company that understands business and understand the market also. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your payment plans and prices. So what would you say, for example, is the minimum amount that a listener or viewer has to have to be able to get a house? And then what are some of the payment plans?
Okay, so let me start with the payment plan first.
Okay.
With the payment plan, we can give you up to 24 months for you to pay without any interest. So within 24 months, you make a deposit and you pay small. Even with the apartment, we can exceed 24 months, depending on your financial situation. Then we have our mortgage partners, First National Bank, Fidelity, Stanbic, Absa, EcoBank. So with this and a wide range of other banks that I can mention. With these banks, if you come to us and you want any of our properties, we link you to them, and then they will give you up to 80% of the cost of the property and give you up to 20 years to pay for the house.
Okay.
So they will give us the money, then give you up to 20 years for you to pay. Okay. And then with the price as low as $85,000, you are getting a luxurious and a very spacious 2-bedroom apartment.
Okay, so from $85,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment, what's the maximum? What's the 4 or 5-bedroom houses are the biggest ones you have?
Yes, those ones we do customization. So depending on what the customer wants in the house, that will determine the price.
Okay, okay. So if anybody wanted to reach you, do you want to just drop your contacts or your websites?
All right, so our website is waylead.org.
Okay.
Waylead, WAYLEAD.org. And then our numbers are on the screen: 0240 11 1119, 0240 11 1119, and 0504 499999. And all social media platform, waylead.org, you will see us.
You'll see us. Okay, well, the numbers are on your screen. So definitely, give Waylead a call if you're looking for a home to buy. And you have some good discounts, you said.
A very good discount.
Okay.
A very good discount.
Uh-huh.
And you call the number. Our sales executives are ready to help you, to assist you in your journey to own a home. Now, what we want to do is that we want majority of Ghanaians to be able to own a home in 2022. So that is our plan. So that's why we are starting a new project in 2022. No matter your budget, just call our sales executive. They will guide you. And by the end of 2022, you will be a proud homeowner at Waylead.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. Numbers are on the screen. Oh, there we are. Okay. And also, don't forget, it's waylead.org. Websites and all social media platforms.
Yes, please.
Okay.
And before we go, we wish all our cherished clients Merry Christmas. In advance this holiday season.
Yes.
Those who are yet to be our clients should pass by and then
become clients.
And to all family and friends, we wish them a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And stay safe.
Yeah, that is very, very important. Yes. We need them alive.
We need them alive. We need you alive. All right, then. Thank you so much, Emmanuel Nyako, Sales Manager for Waylead Properties. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, Ivy bringing us the showbiz news. Don't go anywhere.